Hi, good morning. Welcome to Living Affordably with Nefe. And today we're just going to be talking about what you see on the title, right? Why Africans living abroad always stay broke. And just a disclaimer this morning, we're not saying every Africans living abroad are broke. That's not what we are saying. We're just saying that some Africans, right, living abroad, or let's say majority of Africans living abroad, always stay broke, right, or are always broke, right, despite the fact that so many of them work two jobs, despite the fact that so many of them have high-paying job. But it still seems as if they are broke, right? It still seems as if this money is not enough. So many are still living paycheck to paycheck, right? And that's what we're just going to be dissecting this morning. So I have my phone here, and we're just going to be going through the points and just discussing the points, which are the common reasons why Africans living abroad. Africans, when I say Africans, I mean people from Nigeria, people from West Africa, people from Ghana, people from Malawi, Congo, Burundi, all walks of Africa, right? And why, when they leave their country and they come abroad, why it still seems as if they are broke, despite the fact that they work, or sometimes despite the fact that they have a high-paying job, right? So that's what just going to be talking about this morning. So I want you to stay tuned as we go through this important point, because it will really help you to make better financial decisions. It will really open your eyes to see the problem, right? Why you are broke, right? Because so many times people always attribute their brokenness to maybe the system. They always attribute their brokenness to the kind of job they have. That's why so many people, when they have one job and it still seems as if they are broke, they go for the second one. Some people go for the third one, right? So today, this video will really enlighten you, right, to see the back end, right, of what is really happening with your money, right, or why so many times it still seems as if you are broke. And the number one point I want us to talk about this morning is the fact that a lot of people from Africa, right, when they move abroad, they always try to look successful, right? And I think this has a lot to do with the fact that so many people have this low self-esteem, right? Or they feel that, okay, they don't belong in this society, right? And so they need something to actually boost their confidence. They need something to actually, stay on the same level with other people, right? To some extent that may be good to some people, right? But in a way, if you really don't have the money to actually fund those kind of lifestyle, it may really really be difficult for you. And that's why you may be living from paycheck to paycheck, because what you're going to do is you'll be making so little, right? And you'll be trying as much as possible to wear a trending clothes, to wear a nice clothes, to wear. By the way, you don't have to actually break the bank to wear nice clothing, right? But a lot of people, they want to, follow the trend. They want to spend money on expensive jewelries. They want to spend money on expensive shoes and the likes, just to look successful, right? And not just for the society, not just for the people here. So many people even do that because they want to, look successful to people back home, right? So that people back home, probably who are on their pages, who are watching them, may see that, oh, this guy has made it, right? So, and in a way, it's really, it's really eating into your money, it's really eating into your income. And at the end of the day, when you pay your rent, when you pay your bills, and also the money spent on all these items, you may not really have, you may have nothing left, right? So that's the number one point I want you to note, right? Trying to look successful. So let's write it down. Trying trying to look successful, right? So trying to look successful. So another point that so many people don't really look into, right, is the fact that so many people support people back home, right? There are too many people that you support back home, and in a way, it always seems as if, oh, okay, maybe it's just $50 there, $100 there, $20 there, $10 there, $30 there. To sometimes it may look so little, right? Because you are just giving out, just a bit, a bit, a bit, a bit. But the cumulative effect of this sometimes can be very, very detrimental. It can be very, very big. And what I'm saying is, so many people always give money, to a lot of people back home, right? To friends, to cousins, to relatives, and the likes. But the idea of giving money back home, don't get me wrong, the idea of giving money to people back home is not wrong, right? But we always say this, that there is no way you can actually pour from an empty cup, right? So if you don't have much, right, try as much as possible. Don't say because you have this money, or don't say because you want people to think you have this money, you not give all that you have, right? Because if eventually, right, people are depending on you, right? People are depending on you. Let's say these people are depending on you, right? And you are yet to actually come out, because so many times when you travel abroad or when you move abroad, you are still trying as much as possible to come out from poverty. You are still trying as much as possible to, to be stable and to make something for yourself, right? So while doing that, if you are not careful, right, people depending on you, when they become too much, right, it's always very difficult for you to come up, right? It will be very difficult for you to come up, and it's always easier to pull someone that is up, to pull them down, than to bring someone that is down up, right? And that is the more reason why you need to be very careful, especially when you're sending money back home, right? The idea is good, but when it comes to the point where you are giving more than you have, or you are trying as much as possible to impress people, for people to think you have money. Even sometimes so many people do give away, right? And they don't even have the money, right? If you have the money, it's fine. But when you don't have the money, you need to be very, very careful, because that can really hinder you, right? That can really make you broke, because you are earning not that much and you are giving more than you earn, right? So please take note of that, right? Supporting too many people back home can be a challenge, right? If you are not very, very careful, right? Another thing that people always, so let me put it down. So supporting too many people, right? Supporting too many people. The next point I want us to talk about is financing everything, right? Financing everything. Let's talk about financing everything, right? So to those of you who don't know, right, financing everything. So to those of you who don't know, right, Abroad have a system where you can actually finance, whatever you want to get, right? So financing means that you don't have the money, right? But you can buy the money. It's more like you buy something on credit, right? In Africa, we say you buy something on credit, right? You go to like a dealer, a car dealership shop, right? You go to a car dealer and then you say, okay, you want this car. So what they do is they will give you that car. So instead, let's say the car is worth 50K, right? The car is worth $50,000, right? So instead of you paying back $50,000, they will structure it in such a way that you pay more than that. You may pay $70,000, you may pay $80,000, depending on, the deal, right? So many times people always want to finance things, right? Because they don't have the money, but they want to use that thing. Say they want to finance their car, they want to finance their phone, electronics, even a lot of people on Amazon, I heard that a lot of people finance bags, right? So you want to buy a bag, you now finance, you buy now, you pay later, right? Those kind of attitude, those kind of behavior, right, can really hinder you from being financially free. That's number one. And it can always make you broke. Right? That is why you need to be very, very careful when it comes to money, when it comes to money management, when it comes to handling money. You need to be very, very careful. Don't just make stupid financial decisions, right? Because so many times some financial decisions are kind of very, very stupid, right? Because when you look at it, there are some deals or there's some contracts we get ourselves into, and then so many times you pay for 7-8 years, right? So you will be in debt. So when you wake up every day, you are in debt. So the car that you are using, even by that time, is no longer the value has dropped significantly, right? So by the time you are done with paying your car debt, right, the car value is no longer what it was when you actually got it, right? And that is the more reason why you need to make smart financial decision, right? And what this channel does, or what we do here on this channel, is to try as possible to help you make financial decisions, because I myself, right, I've been caught up in all these financial mistakes before, right? I got a car that I cannot afford, I got a phone that I cannot afford, I got a shoe that I cannot afford, right? And I'm actually seeing the consequences of my actions, and that's why this channel was actually better to help you make smart financial decisions. Because I am making smart financial decision now, and it's really helping me tremendously. And I don't want you to make that same mistake, right? Either you're in Canada, you're in US, even if you are back home, right? If you are in Africa, these teachings, these lessons are still very, very much applicable. Don't buy what you cannot afford, right? It's a smart lesson, right? So financing everything. A lot of people finance even their TV, they finance their phone, they finance iPhone 17, iPhone 18, iPhone 19. When it comes out like this, even though you don't have the money cash, you think because you can just have it, right? So why not? I'll just pay little. People are not even concerned about, they're not concerned about what you have to pay at the end, right? So let's say you get a car of $50, sorry, or 50K, right? They're not concerned about the interest, which can probably, maybe you are paying back 68,000, right? 68K. So they're not concerned about that. What they are concerned about is, what am I going to be paying bi-weekly? What am I going to be paying back by monthly? Okay, am I going to be paying back $300, $400 bi-weekly? And they say, oh, I should be able to afford it, right? Not making smart financial decisions, right? So you need to be very, 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 very careful, right? So let's talk about the number 4 reasons why a lot of people stay broke. A lot of Africans stay broke in diaspora, right? A lot of Africans living in diaspora, why they stay broke. And it is lifestyle, right? Lifestyle inflation, right? So now, I explained earlier on that a lot of people work 2 jobs, right? Some people work 3 jobs. And some people, they even have high-paying job. Well, why is it that so many times, even when they have a raise at work, so many times when they work 2 jobs, it still seems as if they are broke, right? It's because most Africans, most people, but like I said, in this channel, we focus so much on African community, right? And most Africans, when they have a raise at work, or maybe when they have 2 jobs, they automatically, right? They automatically increase their spending, right? So when their income increases, they also increase their spending. So let's say they were making 60K, right? Let's say they were making 60K per year, right? And there was a raise to, let's say there's a raise to 70K. What so many African people do, or so many Africans living abroad, what they do now is they tend to move from where they are staying, maybe from their rent, maybe they are living in 1-bedroom apartment, they move, right? Maybe they were paying 2,100 before, they moved to an apartment where they pay 2,008, right? So they increase their spending, they always get new cars, they get new clothing, they get all this new stuff, they upgrade their lifestyle, right? So I'm not saying that is not good, but you need to actually check the numbers, right? So many times while they are upgrading, it's more or less, most of the times, if they are not careful, they will upgrade more than what the increase. They will upgrade more than the increase, right? So let's take, for instance, their spending is always within the range of 40K, and then maybe they make 50K, right? So when they raise it, let's say they raise their income to like 60K, right? So many people raise their spending to like 55K, right? So at the end of the day, they are spending more than the rate of their increase, right? And if you're not careful, what that will lead you to is being broke, right? It will lead you to being broke. So you need to be very careful, right? It's not every time that you have a raise. It's not every time you have a job, or maybe you are being paid, you are being tipped more. That automatically doesn't mean you have to spend more, right? So why not try as much as possible when you have a raise, or when you have more income coming in, right? Why not try as much as possible to save some of those income, to invest some of those income? We're still going to talk about investment as time goes on, right? So why not invest some of those incomes, the difference, right? The increase. Why not invest there, right? Instead of automatically upgrading your lifestyle. So you need to be very, very careful. If not, you are going to end up to that 5-letter word, which is being broke, right? So number five, let's talk about no budget. Let's talk about no budget. And I can categorically tell you that a lot, I don't have the numbers, but I believe 90% of people, 90% of African community living abroad don't do any budgeting. And that's very, very sad. That's very, very sad, right? They don't do budgeting. They don't know how much they earn. They don't know how much they spend. They don't even know where their money is going, right? And it can be very, very sad, because at the end of the day, you don't know how much you are making. So some people know how much they are making, But it will surprise you that some don't even know, because when you remove the tax and everything, they don't even know how much they are giving, they are paying as tax, right? So all what they know is how much they get after tax. So you hear people say, "Oh, I make 1,500 per month after tax." You don't even know how much is going out in taxes, right? So let's say their income, right? So many people don't know their income, expense, right? Their expenses, right? So many people don't know how much you are spending, right? You don't know how much you are paying on bills or on food, groceries. Sometimes some people spend more this month, they spend less next month, they spend. So they don't even know. You don't have like a system, like something to actually calculate, to actually, help them in budgeting, right? And so many times when you don't know how your money goes, you don't know where your money is going to, it's always very, very difficult to plan. It's always very, very difficult to save, right? Because if you know that, okay, you are making 1,500, right? And out of this 1,500, you know that you're only allowed to spend 1,000, right? You know that you're only allowed to spend 1,000. What happens is, you know that every paycheck, you have $500 to save or $500 to invest. But when you don't even know how much you are earning, you don't even know how much you are spending, you don't even know where your money go. When you go online, you enter Temu or you enter Amazon or you enter any one of those what's it called now, stores online, you just buy. You just have that impulsive buying. You just want to buy. Or when you go to the shop, right? Instead of, okay, I'm going to Walmart, I'm going to the mall, right? I'm just going to spend $70, right? I want to buy this and this, right? I'm going to spend $70. You get to the mall, and what you eventually end up doing is spending $150. I won't be surprised if you end up being broke. You know why? Because you've just spent out of what you budgeted. You spent even more, like almost $80 more than you budgeted. You budgeted 70, now you are spending 150, you've spent 80 more, right? This is how people end up being broke in Canada or abroad or anywhere, right? There needs to be, a good budgeting plan. You need to budget. You need to know how to budget. You need to know where your money is going, what is going out from your account, what is coming in. You need to know all these things, and you need to put numbers to it, so that way you'll be able to better plan, you'll be able to better save, and you'll be able to better invest. I'll actually do a video on budgeting alone, because there is a need. Because if you actually get it right in budgeting, I think it really sets a foundation for most of other things, right? When you're able to get it right in budgeting, you'll be able to know where your money is going, you know how much you are earning. I think when you're able to do that, you know pretty well that, there are some things that you're not supposed to buy, or there are some financial decisions you're not supposed to make. Because if I tell you that a lot of people pay for Apple Music, but they never listen to Apple Music. A lot of people pay for YouTube Premium. They don't even watch YouTube. A lot of people pay for Netflix. The last time they watched Netflix was maybe they watch Netflix twice in a month, right? Because they are working 3 jobs. And when you do the summation of all these things, $50 there, $20 there, $13 there, $5 there, you discover that a lot of money is going out from your account and you are not even aware of it, right? So you need to take note of that, right? Budgeting. No budgeting can actually bring you to that word being broke, right? To that word being broke. So let's go to the sixth one, right? I'll just try to do maybe 7 or like 10. I'll just try to see if I can do 10, right? So number 6 will be not investing early, right? Not investing early. Not early investment. Or not investing early, right? You see, I know I told you that this budgeting is the bedrock for most of this thing, right? Because if you're able to get it right in budgeting, you know how much you are left with after your bills, after your expenses. You know how much you are left with, and you'll be able to better invest. Let me even tell you point blank, right? I'll tell you now that there is no way you can actually be financially free or make wealth, right, if you don't invest your money. And what is investment? I would like to say this to you, that what I categorically, define investment as is your money working for you. I have a video I'm yet to release, and it's about, not investing, right? If you don't invest, you see, by the time you are age 70 or age 60, when you can no longer work for yourself, right, I can categorically tell you that you will end up in factories working for people. Because most times when you get to age 70, you're supposed to have investments. So your investment, you invest your money in different kind of things. And those investments will not be bringing a return to you, will not be yielding a return to you, right? So instead of working at age 70 or age 60, you have your money working for you, right? And not only that, your money will not start working for you at that time. Your money would have been working for you before that time. By the time you start investing, your money will be working for you, A cumulative, a compound, a compound effect of this, right, can really save you from 70 years old or 60 till you go to your grave. Till you go to your grave. But most of the time, people don't invest early. Or sometimes people don't even invest at all. Some people don't invest at all. And what happens is, that's why when you go to the factory, when you go to the mall, you see elderly people, seniors, right, still working at age 70. Some people, don't get me wrong, some people, they do that out of choice, right? Maybe they don't just want to sit down at home, they just want to exercise their body. But I can tell you categorically that most people, majority of seniors you see working at the mall, it's because so many of them failed to invest early. And that's why I won't be surprised if at your old age, you are what? Broke. And you have no other option than to work. Do you get what I'm saying now? So it is important. Investment also, I will also make a video about investment, because there's a lot to talk about when it comes to investment. There are apps, right, to really help you when it comes to investment. It's very, very easy. You don't have to, you don't have to worry yourself too much about what goes on at the back end, right? Those apps are really, really good. We have WordSimple, we have Questrade, we have so many of those investment apps that can really help you. All what you're doing when it comes to financing, where money is just going to be leaving your account and you're going to be paying your car, you're going to be paying your phone, is the same way those apps, take money from your account and invest your money for you, right? I will make a video about that, especially WordSimple, because that's what I use. And it is important for you to start early. Investment is to start early, because the earlier the better. The earlier, the better. I can even tell you that so many people don't know that it doesn't get easier, right? It doesn't get easier. As time goes on, there are responsibilities. Maybe you have, before now, you may be single, right? In a few years' time, you'll be married, you have kids, and before you know it, responsibility, the kids will grow up, they want to go to school, you want to pay school fees, right? So the responsibility doesn't get easier. So it gets tougher and tougher, and that is the more reason why the earlier, the better. If you are waiting till when you are 50, you may not do it, right? And it may be too late, right? So early investment is really, really, really key if you want to avoid being broke, especially as Blacks. And for now, we see some other communities, like I said, elderly communities in the mall that are old, that are working, and we've not really been seeing Black people, right? We've not really been seeing Africans doing that. Though we see some people, maybe people who are, they actually moved here, old, right? So, but a time is coming that the number is going to rise. And the reason why the number is going to rise is because you and I, who are Africans, we are failing to invest early now. So if you're not careful, right, the numbers of Africans, old people, I'm talking about 60s, 70s, people in their 80s, working at the mall, working at the factories, lifting heavy objects, right, will be at increase. You know why? Because so many there have been a lot of immigrants that moved in over the years. In the last 10 years, there has been like quite an increase, right? A large number of people that moved in, and so many people now they are not making smart financial decisions, and that's why this video is coming out, right? Because if you don't make financial decisions now, what is going to happen is in a few years time, you're going to be at the mall, 80 years old, 90 years old, you are going to be working, you're going to be pushing carts, right? So it is important for you to start early. The moment you arrived, abroad, the moment you arrive in Canada, US, Australia, wherever you landed, you need to try as much as possible to invest, start early, right? And so many times, investment can be very, very tricky because so many times you make money, right? But the money is not just enough, because after you take money for your housing, which takes a chunk of your income, you take money, your expenses and everything, right? You are left with something very little, right? Some people are left with $50, and that's why it will take me to the next point, right? If you're an African living abroad, try as much as possible, have at least 2 jobs. If you cannot create a business for yourself, have at least another stream of income. Let me not put it 2 jobs. Let me just say another stream of income. Don't depend on one income. Right? Because, it's even scary to depend on one income, because we live in a society where you can wake up today and you are without a job. Do you get what I'm saying? So you can sleep a night before with a good job, and then when you wake up, you just discover that your company actually downsizing and you'll be let go. Right? So it's very, very tricky. I would advise that you depend on one stream of income. For me, as an individual living in Canada now, I have close to about 7 streams of income. It's not as if those 7 streams of income are giving me what I want yet, but I already set it up in such a way that, in a few years' time, I'll be able to be getting something from those 7 streams of income, right? And that is why each and every one of you also, you need to try as much as possible to not depend on 2 streams of income, right? Don't depend on 2 streams of income. I will make a video about how you can, get another stream of income, how you can work your 9 to 5, your full-time job, and still run it together with, a side gig, or how you can even set up a business, right? That is fetching you money, right? So, number 7 will be don't depend on one income, right? Don't depend on one income. It's very, very dangerous. Never depend on one income. Now, number 8 will be credit card misuse. Oh my God. Credit card misuse. You see, I've seen a lot of Africans that have like 7, 8 credit cards, right? Credit card is not the money inside your credit card is not your money. But a lot of time, people spend everything inside their credit card, and they don't have, an equivalent to actually, return back into the credit card, right? The credit card is just like, okay, I borrow you this money, you have to give it back immediately. Or, okay, let me tell you how credit card works, right? This is the idea behind credit card. I decide to go to the mall. I want to buy something worth of, let's say, $30. I don't have my debit card with me. I don't have my money with me. What credit card helps me to do is to pay so that when I get home or when I get wherever, I can send the money back into my credit card. But so many times, and when you do that, right, it helps build your credit history. It helps build your credit score. But so many times, a lot of people think that the money inside their credit card is for them, right? It's theirs. No, it's for the bank, right? And people accumulate credit cards upon credit card upon credit card upon credit card. And the reason why you end up misusing your credit card, it boils down to budgeting. When you don't budget well, this is where you're going to end up. Credit card misuse. And I've been a victim. So many times you use your credit card to pay for what you're not supposed to pay for. You want to buy a bag, you want to buy a wristwatch. Oh, it's the latest wristwatch. It's just limited edition. It's just 10 in the market. I want to make sure that I get one and all those kind of things. Then you go, because you don't have the money, you go ahead and you buy those items from your credit card. That is stupidity of the highest order. You know where you're going to end up? we are going to end up broke. This is where we are going to end up broke. Because you don't have the money. And that is why I made this channel all about living affordably. Can you afford it? Let the question that comes to your mind anytime you want to spend money that is not yours, let the question that comes to your mind be, can I afford it? If you cannot afford it, don't buy it. Can I afford it? If you cannot afford it, don't buy it. And that is why it is important as an African living abroad to live affordably. If you don't live affordably, you will be broke. You will be broke. If you are not broke, I will be surprised, right? Because you need to know what you have and what you can afford. So that is to say, if I'm making any financial decision, do I have the money for it? If I don't have the money for it, no. And like I said, the money inside the credit card is not yours. So don't buy stuffs based on the money from the inside the credit card. Because the credit card is not yours. So that is to say, even though you have 20,000 on your credit card and you want to buy something of 1,000, right? Can you afford it? Right? Can you afford it? If you cannot afford it, or if you don't have the money, don't use your credit card. It's as simple as that, right? And number nine is not listening to me. Not listening to me. That is no financial literacy. Right? Or not learning financial literacy. Let me put it, not learning financial literacy. Not listening to me. That's what it means. Not listening to me. So many of you, I'm pretty sure, so many of you started this video and you did not finish it. That is the reason why you are going to stay broke. Right? Because so many people, when it comes to money, you are always very quick to say, oh, it's my money. I can spend it however I want, and wherever I want it. You want to spend it, right? It's good. It's your money. But what is going to end up, where you are going to end up is also your portion, right? Because it's your portion, it's your money, right? And where you're going to end up is also your portion. So learning financial literacy is a very, very important thing. Like, you need to hold it so dearly. Learn about money, learn about credit card, learn about banks, learn about how you use your money, learn about, so many things. An average African living abroad know nothing about investment. They know nothing about budgeting. They know nothing about, money management, financial literacy. Right? So if you fail to listen to me, where you're going to end up is broke. You're going to end up being broke. That's what it means. Why? So it is important for you to learn good financial literacy. It is important for you to hit that subscribe button now. It is important for you to like this video so that subsequent videos I'm bringing up to you, you can actually benefit from it. Because I'm going to set up a video and I'm going to post it about how you can really start investing, how you can budget properly, right? How you can make money from your money, right? How to learn money management. That is why you should hit that subscribe button now and also click the like button and share to Jude, share to Ethan, share to Gregory, share to these guys that spend money anyhow, share to your girlfriend that's always asking money. Let them be financially literate. Let them, understand what, the knowledge about money. Do you get what I'm saying? Right? Not learning financial literacy will lead you to the land of brokenness. Number 10, which is the last one for this video, is comparing yourself to others. Comparing yourself. Compare. Let me just put compare. Comparing yourself to others. You see, one of the worst mistakes that you can, social media has made comparison a thing. in such a way that people go on social media, see what Mr. A is doing, see what Jonathan is doing, see what Kelvin is doing, see what Martha is doing, see what Jensita is doing, see what Jennifer is doing, right? And you really want to replicate same. You see, the journey to financial freedom, the journey to wealth, the journey to, being financially free is different from everybody. What you are earning is different from what Jessica is earning. What you are spending as your expense is different from what Jennifer is spending. That is more reason why you need not to compare. The moment you want to compare, oh, I like how that dress look on her body, I need to get it. I love how this, I need to get it. Do you have the money? Can you afford it? He or she may be living without, they may be living, spending money from their credit cards to afford those things. They may not have the money, and some may have the money. But for you, can you afford it? That is the question, right? Can I afford it? You see, when you ask yourself this question, can I afford it? If the answer that comes to your mind is no or maybe, don't. That's your indication. That's your indication, right? That's your indication not to buy it, right? And I think I've successfully been able to really dissect some of the common mistakes that Africans living abroad always make, and that's why they stay broke, right? So please and please like this video, subscribe for more financial wisdom, right? And also share this video, share the videos with your friends, your family, so that you can also learn, especially when you're living abroad, so that you can learn, about money. You can learn money management. You can learn how to live affordably, right? And I'll try as much as possible also to make videos about some of the points that I've actually made in this video. So that's the more reason why you need to stay tuned, right? So stay tuned, subscribe, like, and I'll see you in the next one, right? Take care.